here with women's volleyball head coach Ryan Schopf. We're going to preview the 2025 season that's starting this week. As you head into the season, you're returning two starters and the starting libero. How important is it for you to have that experience come back this year and use that as the foundation?
I think it's important from the culture of the gym perspective as much as it is the starting lineup. Having our ball control back is huge because we're going to be bringing along some new hitters or some young hitters, and having Figgy in the back row and KK in the back row, amongst others, is more of the foundational piece. Like, we know we can hang our hat on, ladies who've done it before, and having a setter back is obviously important to your offense. Foundationally, maybe, we're doing some of the similar things, but anytime you got a new young group, you're going to be changing what you're doing anyway. So it helps from a leadership perspective and more culturally than I think it will on the court. But it is nice to, at least have people girls can talk to, people they can go to, and leaders out there.
Yeah, so last season you graduated 3 of your top 5 players in kills. How do you approach replacing those players this year, because they were a big chunk of your offense?
Part of it is development. We had a good spring, getting some of the freshmen and even sophomores and juniors more reps in our spring season, which is a predominantly practice season. That helps. Recruiting also played a huge part, and getting some experienced attackers because we lost so many. I mean, we'll face it, our 2 starters in the middle graduated, and obviously somebody who finished in the top 5 in the history of Lakeland in kills, you're not going to replace. So you're trying to bring in the best possible kids. Having Riley back on the outside, kind of thrown into that role last year and became a 6 rotation kid for us, at least helps. She's been in the fire. She's been in the big matches. But it's, again, through the recruiting process, we've kind of identified, and we knew those kids were going to graduate. So this class, we've had an eye on bringing in some young hitter talent. So, we'll slow play it a little bit, but we feel we've got a lot of kind of young guns that are ready to go and don't know any better, and just want to get out there and compete. So, yeah, it's nice to have experience, but sometimes with experience comes pressure, where the young ones can just run around and make plays and not even know what they don't know.
Yeah. So as you kind of mentioned, you brought in a class of 14 players this year with 11 freshmen and 3 transfer. What excites you about this group that you brought in?
Oh, boy. What excites me the most? I can tell you the gym is exciting. It is loud, and it is very charismatic. They're good culture kids, but they all have their own personal identity. And with this class, they were from all over the country, so they bring a ton of personality. Now, drill work, practice work, scrimmage work, it's loud. And we kind of talk about, we have one of the bigger rosters in the Midwest, so play to our advantage. We should be loud all the time. We should be able to communicate all the time. There is a lot of talent. One of the best 3 recruiting classes that I've had in the years that I've been here. And, we got some experience where we needed experience. We've got just some young athletic kids that can grow, but then we've also got some polished kids who are probably ready to step up right away. So for us, it was a perfect class of what we needed. We needed a big class, and we got it, and they're developing very quickly.
So within this class, are there any specific freshmen or transfers that you're expecting to make an immediate impact?
Yeah, 100%. So we have a scrimmage that's fresh in the brain since we scrimmaged yesterday, and each of the 3 sets, there was a senior, a junior, and the rest freshmen and sophomores running around and playing one of the Midwest powerhouses. So, yeah, they're going to be on the court right away. I mean, Samaya Hughes is somebody that jumps off as an outside hitter. Mal Kowalski, a transfer that came in. Kenzie Jackson is a freshman from Texas. She's been getting a lot of playing time so far. So it's actually a pretty young squad. Our sophomores are a very mature group. It feels like they've been here forever, and they've only been here 1 year. So those two classes complement each other really well. But then a lot of the leadership, Dijonay coming back, Kit Symbol, as I mentioned already, and then a bunch of seniors who are really good leaders. So far, it's been the perfect blend of youthful bliss and then the old lady leadership. But it's been an exciting gym. There are going to be some times where it's all freshmen and sophomores out there, and we're going to have to learn under fire a little bit. But again, like I said, our leaders are really good. So even if they're not on that court specifically, they'll be help leading the way.
So for your schedule wise, you start the season 14 matches on the road across multiple tournaments. Did you do this purposely, like as a challenge for the team, or just as an opportunity to grow together in the beginning of the year?
I didn't even think about it till you read me this stat. Our issue is we like to have a top 20 nationally ranked schedule in the preseason. We've had some success in the conference. We want them to see multiple styles. We want them to see big teams, small teams, fast teams, athletic teams, good teams that are good at serving, good reception teams. So again, in order for us to go and play these top 25 teams, generally we have to go on the road. Very few times will we have a bunch of ranked opponents coming in our gym. We were a little lucky last year, U of Chicago coming in. We're starting to get on that national map where teams will take a chance and come play us, but generally, for example, I think we're playing 5 WIAC schools in the first 3 weeks. 2 of them will come to us. Most of the time we have to go to the others. So do we plan it? Not really, but if we want to play the best of the best, then we have to travel. Maybe a few years from now we can get those teams to come here, but Lakeland's a tough place to play, and a lot of the big schools don't want to come here with the fear of, maybe they knock us off. Whereas if they're at home, then it makes a little more sense for them. Plus, to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of hosting tournaments. It's more work for me. So that would be one way to get them to come in, but maybe in the next 3 years we'll be able to do that a little bit more. But you could definitely grow on the road. And you can build the team together. It's team building constantly on the bus, in the hotels. So there's something to be said about that. And then our conference opener is our home opener, so there should be some excitement around campus because it is our first time at home. So a little bit of both. I don't really use it as a challenge. Our girls are coming to play for me. They know the challenge of our non-conference schedule. They know we're going to play Point, Oshkosh, La Crosse, Whitewater, Stevens Point, no matter what, and a couple of other schools that are really good as well. So they know that through the recruiting process. So if they're scared of those teams, then we're probably not the right fit. If they want to push themselves kind of outside their comfort zone, then it's a good fit, and let's see what we can do. And I think we match up athletically with those teams, maybe not size-wise, but definitely athleticism-wise this year. So who knows? Hopefully we put a scare into a couple of them.
Yeah, definitely. So just to kind of wrap up, what are your goals for this season as a whole?
Such coach speak. Honestly, we talk every night about getting 1%, 2% better every practice. We are young, so our ceiling is very high. We've had some success in scrimmages so far. We've had some really good practices. We got to learn a lot about our team. Maybe not having that go-to that we've had over the last 2 or 3 years. I think we're developing a lot of go-tos very quickly, so I think that'll take care of itself. But definitely number one is to make the conference tournament. I think that it's a majority of the time we do that, and then from there it's actually hosting, whether it's 1 round, 2 rounds, or 3 rounds. But getting our fans involved in the conference tournament. Last year we had just a really rough draw for us going to Aurora. We play a similar style. They were just better at it than us last year. That game's at home. We might be able to do some things differently. But definitely to get in the tournament, to get at home, if some breaks go our way, who knows? Getting in that top 4, I think is definitely doable. obviously we want to win the conference and win the conference tournament. I think every team has those aspirations, but for us, it's really one step at a time. It's going to be very matchup driven this year. So we got a ton of talent. It's just figuring out what do we need, what night from what girls. But other than that, we have some a lot of off the court goals and having a bigger presence on campus. Obviously, an academic goal. We'll be working with Habitat for Humanity this year. We're excited about actually going to a build site this year. We're going to Brazil in March. So there's a ton of cool stuff going on. So the volleyball piece is fantastic, and we think we've got a good squad. But there's a big year for Lakeland volleyball. So getting through that healthy and happy, I think, would be another goal.
Perfect. Well, you start the season this Friday, August 29th, at the St. Norbert Chick-Fil-A Invitational, so I wish you guys the best of luck this year.
Thank you very much. Go Muskies.